Alright, today I'm going to talk about soil mix and fertilising. Now I'm not going to be able to give you my percentage or ratio of soil mix. I'm just going to tell you what I use because I don't even know my ratio. I just chuck it all in, and if it looks good, it's good enough for me. Now I'm starting off with organic potting mix. Now this has probably too much wood, but this is what I use. I don't have too much problem with this stuff. I've just been using it, but I use a lot of other stuff that aerates. So, a bag or two of those. We'll go with the hard stuff first, which is Zlite, and that's just now this stuff's good for holding in fertilizers. If you have if you fertilize your soil, a lot of the time it'll just run straight through the pot, and then you're leaching all your fertilizers and minerals. But this, from what I've read, once it comes in contact with this, it'll hold the fertilizer or the minerals in that, and so then over time, every time a rain or a water comes by, it'll slowly leach out of there into the root system. Now, I'm not 100% on all this, but this is from what I've read and what I understand. Now we got shell grit. Where are we? There. Bunch of tiny shells. From what I understand, there's chitin in shells, wings of insects, bug shells, seashells, all of that. So chitin is really good for Jesus Christ. Chitin is really good for plant defenses. Haven't read up on it for a while, but that's what I remember. Chitin is good for plant defenses. So when I mix my shells in here, eventually it'll break down and I'll take it up. What else do we have? Where is it? Oh, here. Oh, well, this is one. This is insect frass. And so that's another thing that has heaps of chitin in it. And that'll do the same thing. It boosts. It'll be good as a fertilizer, and it'll boost with chitin. Now, another thing is biochar. Now, this is the biochar that I usually get. And all this stuff, I'm not explaining much of it very well, but I've done my research, and this is what I think's really good for my soil. So I'm just telling you what I use, and you guys can do the research if you want. And I get that green man char, blended biochar. Pretty good, not too expensive, and probably the cheapest I've found. But that'll be good for microbes and tiny little insects. It gives them a habitat to hide in. It's good for drainage, good for also holding moisture, but it'll help with aeration. Now this thing's got it from my grandfather, but I just use it, I'm pretty sure it's chicken poo or rooster crap. I just chuck it in there. If it runs out, it runs out. Volcanic dust. So that's a different brand, but at the moment, I think this one. Oh no, sorry. This one's just rock dust. That's what it's sold as, and it's a greyish look. And then I also use azomite rock dust, and it's super powdery fine. And so again, when I've done my research, it seems pretty beneficial for my soil, and the plants. So that's what I use. Also, I got worm castings, blood and bone. That's my soil mix, and so I'm obviously sort of using the soil as the main base, probably about half of it. Oh, and the other thing is perlite. Not perlite. What's it called? Pumice. Now this is a 1 to 2 grade, so this is quite fine. It's very fine. So I don't use too much of that, but it does go in. And then the rest I use is a 4 to 20, so that's a lot bigger. And that helps with drainage, aeration, and they'll also get some minerals from this. And I'd rather use this than perlite, because perlite will have the dust, it raises to the soil, it breaks down. And from everything that I've read, pumice is just better. And the last thing is gypsum. And so that's everything that goes into the soil mix. I've actually got some here. So I think everyone's going to say this is too much soil, but it works for me. So, and yes, I mean, I get some fungal problems, but from what I've seen, everyone gets fungal problems. And honestly, I feel like it's pretty under control at the moment. And a lot of the time, I'm not getting fungal issues in the new soil, but it's looking good. So this is some of the size of the pumice, and then that smaller, finer stuff is like super fine. So then we're on to fertilizer. So this is new, so I'm not 100% how this is going to go, but after my research, I think this is what I want and what I need. Now I'd rather not use chemical, I'd rather use organic, but yeah. Pro PK, professional potash, pharmaceutical grade, soluble liquid bloom minerals for heavyweight. So this is a phosphorus of 13% and 15% potassium. Now, from what I've read, it's really good for root development. So my theory is, if you can develop the roots more, then they can get in more minerals, everything that they need to help them fight off pests and diseases. If you give them access to what they need, well, then they should be able to sort themselves out. It helps with cell walls, so I shouldn't get too many that are bending over or snapping or falling over. And it also helps with disease and pest resistance. Just makes them stronger in general. So yeah, bigger root systems, more they can do, I suppose. And the other one is Grow, and this is, who's this from? Not sure, but if you search up Grow liquid fertilizer, it should come up. And this has heaps of soil microbes, fungi, minerals, heaps of stuff. And so I've been using this as well. And I'll just mix these two together in a watering can or a spray pack. And yeah, I'll just do all of these guys, which will usually take, if I do it in a spray pack, if I don't want to put too much on, I don't want to waste it, that's like all day. But yeah, yeah. And the other thing is gypsum. So if I'm at the very start of the growing season, I'll chuck on gypsum at the start of the growing season. Then I'll come afterwards with this to wash the gypsum in, and so then that goes in, and then every other time. So I won't put gypsum on again this season. Maybe at the end, I don't know, I'll see. But then I'll put this on once a month, maybe. I don't know, maybe, yeah, once a month probably. And I'm not putting heaps on, it's just like, it's a very small amount, because I've got to do all of these, so I can't spend that much time and that much money on fertilising every single one of them to the max. And I also don't want to overdo it, so, yeah. But that's about it. Most of my fertiliser is like, it's in the soil mix. So this soil mix will provide them for years. And this is just to give them that extra boost. But so far, seedlings are loving it. All these plants are healthy as. Haven't had an issue. Well, I have, but everyone has issues, I suppose. Alright, well, I've tried my best, and there we go.